These are the three most common signs that your avoidant ex is using you that nobody really talks about. The first is that they show up when they need you, but they disappear when you need them. This is something that you are probably experiencing time and time again, right? They come up to you when they're feeling lonely or they're dealing with something difficult, and they expect that you are going to always be there to help comfort them and walk through this or whatever they need to essentially get through this. But the moment that you essentially are trying to get that same type of thing for yourself, they switch up quickly and become so distant to you, and they don't even attempt to try to help you work through whatever you're going through. And this is essentially so challenging for someone to go through, right? Because whenever your avoidant ex is dealing with something like this, you are readily available for them because typically of these two reasons, and that is one, you essentially want to actually help them because you care for them and you want to do whatever you can to get them through this because you would expect the same thing back from someone who loves you. And the second reason tends to be that you think that this potentially could be an opportunity for you guys to work on things and get better and just get back to the way things were essentially. And it makes sense why you feel this way because typically with another person, this would be what that is, right? You guys coming together, working things out, being vulnerable, dealing with any of the conflicts, all of those different things that you would expect to go through when you're dealing with something like this that would lead to both you getting stronger and more intimate and actually being able to get through whatever is causing you to have this rift and being able to heal from that together so that you both can move on and have a healthy relationship essentially. But this tends to not be the real intentions for an avoidant. They typically in this scenario want you to essentially give them what they want in the sense that they want to feel better, they want to feel good or get some kind of direction. And the moment that they get that, that's all that they want. And if you try to do anything more than that, that's when they will pull away. And this becomes a pattern over and over again and is a really good indicator that they are just using you. Sign number 2 is that they keep you in emotional limbo. Now, this is something that you are probably going to recognize right away the more that I explain this, but this is where they are trying to avoid any type of intimacy or getting close or dealing with any conflict. They are always verbally trying to move away from that, right? This may look like them telling you that they don't want to label things or saying things that they just need space but they don't want to lose you, or saying things that you're the only one that really gets them but they just simply are not ready. And there could be a plethora of other things that they're saying, but I think you have a good idea as to what this may look like. And this is essentially them just deflecting, right? And what this boils down to is that they are trying to do everything in their power to avoid intimacy because they don't want to get close, right? They don't want this going any further than what they want. And essentially, they want to keep things at a surface level because that's what makes them feel comfortable. That's something that they feel they can thrive in because they don't have to deal with any unwanted emotions or conflicts or any vulnerability that could potentially come up because those are things that they can't control. And when it comes to an avoidant, they want to essentially have control over everything, which we all know is a facade because you can't control everything, especially when it comes to having two people being in a relationship. Things are going to happen sporadically. There's going to be emotions and things to deal with, and even normal, typical things that you would expect someone to want to experience in a relationship, like getting more intimate or deep in love. Those are things that are threats to their emotional well-being because they didn't get their emotional needs met when they were younger, so they had to adapt and become an avoidant to essentially make themselves feel good about that. So they are just essentially running this program which is causing them to feel this way, and is why they are trying to keep their distance away from you and not allowing you to get close to them and not trying to take this further. And that's why you are stuck in this emotional limbo, because this is very well designed by them. And this is why you are left in emotional limbo, because this is really the ideal relationship that they would want in their eyes, rather than what we would normally experience with two people being together, opening up, expressing emotions, all those things that you would expect. That's something that an avoidant does not want to experience. And sign number 3 is that you feel more anxious around them than you do feel safe. This tends to be because of all the different things that most people experience when they go through a relationship with an avoidant, right? you are constantly feeling like you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to trip this avoidant attachment style and cause them to pull away from you, and then you have to sit there and try to do everything that you can to get them back and to try to work things out. And then when you're finally at a point where you just want to give up, then they come back to you and it seems like everything is finally working itself out just for this avoidant trigger to happen again, and this cycle keeps going over and over and over again, right? So you try to do everything in your power to avoid this from happening, which causes you to overthink everything. You overthink what message you want to say to them. You overthink how close you want to get to them, right? You're constantly having this anxious feeling because you want to express this natural emotions or experiences that you're having, but you're in fear that that is going to simply trigger that avoidant, and that tends to be what ends up happening. So you're constantly holding yourself back, which is going to cause you to naturally feel anxious because it's very hard for someone to keep that up, right? It's so hard because this is who you are, right? That's your love language. That's who you are essentially. So you're going to have moments where you're going to slip up and express that to them, which they're going to obviously respond in a negative way. This tends to leave most people feeling like they're constantly chasing emotional scraps. You're just trying to get any sense of intimacy with this person to feel like you guys are in an actual relationship and that you love each other, which you do, right? And they do essentially to you too. I don't want to make it seem like they don't love you at all, because they do, but they love you in their own ways, which makes you feel like you're not fulfilled, right? And you know this at this point, but you put that aside because the love that you have for this person is so strong, because you know that when things are good, like this is a great relationship and you'd want to be in the relationship with this person. But when they allow this avoidant attachment style to come up constantly, it really causes the relationship to not be able to work at the end of the day. But you are just so caught up in this cycle and the hope of what things could be that you tend to not really see that this is probably how things are going to always be with them until they actually do the things that they need to do to heal and move on from this. So you might be asking yourself, what do I do here? Like, what is the move? What is my next step? And the first thing that I hope you can see and realize is that you have to stop fighting to prove your worth. You have done everything in your power to try to get this person to see the value of being in a relationship with you and want to try to put some effort into just working on this avoidant attachment style so that you guys can be able to work through this and actually have a relationship that's going to benefit the both of you. But they just simply do not want to do that for whatever reason that they have. Typically, it's due to because of how long this has been, and it's going to take them a while and some professional help to help them navigate through this and heal whatever that's caused them to be this way. But they have to essentially recognize that this is a problem. And the thing about an avoidant attachment style is that that system tries to convince that person each and every day that being this way is justified, right? Because they had to do that to survive their caregivers not meeting their emotional needs. And because of how long that's been, it's created this strong, really impenetrable fortress for someone like you to essentially help them walk through this. They need somebody else that's going to know how to professionally work through this, which is a therapist, but they have to be the one to recognize this and then go take the actions of finding someone who's going to help them through that. And instead of asking yourself, why does this keep happening? You need to ask yourself, why do you keep putting up with this? You deserve somebody who's going to want to be in a relationship with you, who's going to want to give you your all, and who genuinely wants to be better in any way that they possibly can, because that's what makes a relationship work, when two sides are able to work together and try to build the relationship up. Even when there's hardships, no relationship is going to be perfect, and we all understand that. But when it comes to this type of situation where you have somebody who honestly knows that they're an avoidant and you've tried to be patient with them and work through this with them, and they just simply time and time again disappoint you and don't try to take actionable steps to work through this, that's all the evidence that you need to know that this person is not taking this serious, and nobody knows when they ever will. And you don't deserve to have to continue to keep going through this same cycle, wasting your time, knowing deep down that this is the reality of what things are. Now is your time to really take a step back and understand and see things for what they are so that you can begin to understand what is best for you. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.